Harper's magical Moonstone. Once upon a time, in the middle of the whispering, wonderful Whistlewood forest, there lived a young hedgehog named Harper. Harper was small and round, with tiny paws and soft brown eyes that twinkled like stars. She lived in a cozy burrow under a big mossy log, decorated with colorful stones, acorn caps, and curled ferns she collected from the forest floor. She loved to collect shiny pebbles, especially the ones with strange sparkles or squiggly marks, keeping them lined up in her treasure box. But more than anything else, Harper loved stories. She told them to anyone who would listen. Rabbits on their way to school, squirrels nibbling lunch, or birds resting on branches. Her tales were full of talking trees, dancing shadows, and secret tunnels beneath the roots. The stories made her friends laugh, gasp, and sometimes even shiver with excitement. Harper also cared deeply about others. She is kind and likes to help anyone in need. She believed that kindness made the forest feel warmer, even on rainy days. Still, like anyone, Harper made mistakes. And one bright autumn morning at forest school, she was about to make a big one. One crisp fall morning, Harper scurried off to forest school. Forest school is a peaceful, open-air classroom nestled in a sunny clearing surrounded by tall, leafy trees. Tree stumps serve as seats, and a wide, flat stone acts as the teacher's desk. Vines and flowers hang gently overhead like natural curtains. This is where all the young woodland creatures gathered to learn from Mr. Owl, the wisest teacher in Whistlewood. As Harper settled onto her leaf cushion seat beside Betty, the bunny, Theo the chipmunk, Benny the beaver, and all her woodland classmates, Mr. Owl cleared his throat.
Class,
He said in his deep, gentle voice.
Tomorrow we'll have a special event, our very first show and tell contest. You may bring something interesting, something that tells a story. It can be big or small, old or new. The most thoughtful and creative show and tell will win this. A golden acorn.
The forest classroom buzzed with excitement. Wings flapped, paws clapped, and tails twitched. Harper's eyes widened. She had never seen anything so shiny.
I have to win that, but what can I bring?
She thought, imagining it resting right in the middle of her treasure shelf. After Mr. Owl announced the show and tell contest, Harper couldn't stop thinking about it. Inside her cozy burrow, she went straight to the corner of her room where she kept her secret treasure box. Carefully, Harper opened the box. Inside were her favorite things, and then she saw it. Wrapped in a soft leaf was a bright, glistening crystal like pebble. It wasn't very big, but it sparkled like stars with tiny flecks of silvery white beam inside. It looked almost magical. Harper had found it months ago near the creek, buried in the mud after a rainstorm. She had never shown it to anyone. It was her secret treasure. She turned it over in her paws and whispered,
This is perfect!
No one had seen it before. No one knew she had it. If she told a little story around it, maybe it could be something special. Maybe it could win.
A moonstone from a faraway mountain, a wishing stone passed down through hedgehog generations. Just one story, just for show and tell.
She smiled and tucked the crystal pebble into a tiny pouch. The next morning, Whistlewood Forest was covered in a soft golden mist. In the forest classroom, a wooden table had been cleared and decorated with leaves and flowers. Everyone was buzzing with excitement as the show and tell begins. Theo the chipmunk showed a nut he had cracked open in the shape of a perfect heart. Betty the bunny shared a miniature fruit-bearing apple tree. Benny the beaver brought a giant banana. Then it was Harper's turn. She stepped up slowly. All eyes were on her. She untied the pouch and gently pulled out the crystal pebble.
This is a moonstone. It's been in my family for generations. My great-grandhog found it on top of the misty mountain, far, far away. They say it was left by a shooting star. If you whisper a wish to it under a full moon, it's supposed to come true, but only if you believe.
The class fell silent, eyes wide with wonder. Even Mr. Owl tilted his head, clearly impressed.
A very mysterious and magical item, Harper. Thank you for sharing.
Harper gave a small nod and returned to her seat. Her classmates swarmed around her with questions.
Where exactly is the Misty Mountain?
Did you make a wish already? What was it?
Can your great-grandhog bring more moonstones?
Harper was surrounded. She tried to answer, first one question, then another, but they kept coming. The more they asked, the more flustered she became. Suddenly, Mr. Owl's voice cut through the chatter, kind and firm.
All right, class. Let's give Harper a little space. I know you're all very curious about the Moonstone, but we'll have plenty of time for more questions after we announce the winner of Show and Tell tomorrow. We've had a full day of sharing and learning, so get a good night's rest.
That night, Harper lay in bed, staring at the ceiling of her cozy burrow. She couldn't sleep. Her thoughts spun like leaves in the wind. What if her classmates asked more questions tomorrow? What if she didn't know what to say? Harper's chest felt tight. She had always loved going to school, but now she felt scared. She looked at the shiny crystal pebble. It didn't feel special anymore. It felt like a lie.
I didn't mean to lie. I just wanted everyone to like my story.
After a while, she sat up and held the shiny crystal pebble and said,
I have to tell the truth, even if they're upset. I don't want to feel this way anymore.
The next morning, as the class settled in, Harper quietly approached Mr. Owl before lessons began.
I made up the story about the Moonstone,
she confessed.
I didn't mean to lie. I just wanted to be special like everyone else. But now, I see that one lie just leads to more lies.
Mr. Owl listened patiently, nodded slowly, understanding her feelings.
You are very brave, Harper. To admit the truth is never easy.
Harper looked up at him, feeling a bit better but still unsure.
But what if they don't want to be friends with me anymore?
Mr. Owl smiled kindly.
It's natural to worry, but honesty helps build trust. Some of your friends might feel sad at first, but your friends will appreciate your honesty, and they will see that you've learned something important. That being true to yourself and others is the bravest thing you can do.
Harper took a deep breath and nodded.
I'll tell them. I will.
With a deep breath, Harper stood up and walked to the front of the room. Mr. Owl was there, his warm eyes watching her with understanding.
Class, I need to tell you something.
Her classmates turned their attention to her, sensing that something important was coming.
I lied. I made up the story about the Moonstone. The truth is, I've had the Moonstone for a long time. It's something special to me, but I wanted to tell a story that was more exciting.
The room was quiet. Harper's ears turned pink, and she lowered her gaze, feeling the weight of her words.
I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to make anyone upset or trick you. I should have told the truth from the beginning.
There was a long pause. Then Betty the bunny spoke up.
Well, the Moonstone is still really pretty, even if it didn't come from Misty Mountain.
Yeah, it still shines like stars. That's what matters.
And it was the best show and tell. I still think it was awesome.
Harper's eyes widened in surprise. She hadn't expected this kind of reaction. Mr. Owl stepped forward, his wings spread wide.
You see, Harper, your classmates are right. The truth is always important. But that doesn't mean the Moonstone wasn't still special. It was a beautiful show and tell, and your bravery to tell the truth makes it even more beautiful.
Thank you. I promise I'll never lie like that again.
And that's what matters most.
Mr. Owl said with a smile.
You've learned something important today, Harper, and you've shown courage and honesty, and the prettiest show and tell. I think you deserve to win this contest.
The class clapped for Harper, their smiles wide and bright. As Harper held the golden acorn in her paws, she felt lighter than she had in days. It wasn't the prize that made her heart soar, but the feeling of being honest and accepted for who she truly was. And that, she knew, was the greatest reward of all. The end. Harper's story teaches us that lies can lead to more lies, and that can feel heavy. But telling the truth, even when it's scary, helps you feel better, braver, and builds trust with others.
Come along with Chichipie.